Back with another episode of the Closers. Game 7 is over. The Thunder advance to meet Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. We got SGA versus Ant-Man. Man, first, before we get there, let me thank everybody who watches, support us, subscribe, keep the channel going and growing. And keep doing this with us. We gonna have a lot of fun, a lot of good things coming up in the future. Even today, you got a really good show coming up. But before we get to the Western Conference Finals, let's talk about this Game 7 real quick. I had OKC, and I don't know if I thought they would blow them out, but they figured something out that was very bothersome for the Nuggets, and that was putting Alex Caruso on Nikola Jokic, and that just frustrated him, and you could see it. It was clear he was frustrated. He was not his normal NBA MVP self. Did y'all see this coming once the game got rolling?
No, I did not see a blowout. I thought regardless of who won, it was going to be a tight matchup. But them guys, it was at like the midpoint of the second quarter, man. They just flipped a switch, and they got busy, hitting big shots. Most importantly, playing good defense. This game was won by defense today, and the last thing I add is, you heard this everywhere. Are they too young? They're youthful. Is that going to be a disadvantage? Today, it looked like their youth was their advantage. That's what it looked like today. They had more energy. They was playing defense. They seemed hungrier and wanted it more. But having Caruso on Jokic did give them some problems for whatever reason. I'm not sure 100% why, but it worked.
Yep. It did. Now, you know what? And that's one of the things that I think we even mentioned it last week. Last week, we were saying that this is where the youth is going to show. It's going to show at home, the athleticism, and that was the complete change in the game in that second quarter. You've seen them almost get on a point of view of like, let's just go ahead and run.
Yep.
Let's just go run. We still going straight to the basket. We're not stopping. We're not playing a slow game, a slow pace game. Because in the beginning they couldn't even make a shot. I don't think they hit a 3-pointer until midway in the, I want to say, third quarter, second quarter.
Yep.
So they were up and down, and they was down by 10 at one point. But you never seen them out of the game. So
right.
Their youth was actually, like you said, that's what their advantage was today, was their youth.
Yep. And, I expected Jalen did exactly what I thought he would do. He finished the game with 24 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. And, he fit that description of what you said. At the beginning of the game, wasn't nobody making any shots. He was missing wide open threes. He almost airballed a couple. But at some point, it turned into a defensive game. And they just got out and ran. And Jalen started getting downhill, going to the basket, making plays for himself and others. And he finished, with 24 points, which was big because he's had those, couple of games where he's scoring single digits or, 10 points. And that's, we said that's not going to win. And I think, he's the X factor to them, also winning a chip. He has to be that guy that, if he's giving you 24, 7, and 5, this team is really they're unbeatable if he's doing that, because you got SGA who put in 35. You go get 30 from him. Then everybody else, you got a bunch of guys that could get hot and at random times or whatever. But Jalen has to be that other dude that's gonna give you, a consistent, 20 plus points. And that was really the difference, man. And the defense was insane. Like, it was, I've never seen, I don't know how many, matter of fact, I might look it up. I don't know how many turnovers Denver finished with. 22 turnovers. I don't know if I've ever seen the Nuggets turn the ball over that many times.
Not at all.
And that, that was ultimately, the difference. The Thunder got up 12 more shot attempts. That was it. And I think OKC can do that to any opponent, especially if you could do it to the greatest player in the NBA right now, who is looking to win another MVP, but he just lost to potentially the other guy who could win it in SGA. Did this game for y'all, did this series for y'all. Say SGA, even if he wins it or loses it, but he's the true MVP of this season.
I would say it did. I think this solidified his MVP. Just because the way he ended this series in a crucial game at home, performed, he showed that he stepped up to the plate and said, like, hey, y'all get on my back. Even though he didn't lead the team and scored in the first half, you seen him doing all the other things, facilitating, playing defense. This game right here, the way he closed that game, showed me that he's ready for that to take that stand for the MVP.
Yeah, I'm a agree. I think this solidified it. You got two guys that were pretty much neck to neck in that race. They went head to head. SGA came out on top, and in the most important game, he outplayed Jokic. Now, I still think Jokic is the best player in the league, but if we talking MVP for this season, I'm going with SGA just because of this series and the matchup in Game 7. He clearly outplayed Jokic, and it's interesting because now SGA has the opportunity to make an argument of being the best player in the league. Because if he win the championship, I mean, you had the best record, right? You the MVP, and you won the championship. And if they win, he'll get Finals MVP. So then it's a whole nother discussion. Is SGA the best player in the league? And if they win it, I can't be mad at anybody that says that he is. So I'm super excited for the next round. But my vote is for SGA after today's victory.
And the kind of
go ahead, Dale. Go ahead.
Not to look where he has his team at. They have the best record in the NBA East and West. So for him to be there and to be that, I won't even say close, but be neck to neck, and what he's been doing this whole year, and it started during the Olympic runs this summer. The way he had Canada playing, you kind of seen the trajectory he was getting ready to go into this year, and all he did was capitalize on that summer and that experience, and to have his team number one. I mean, I think to me that would be the tiebreaker. Where his team in the at the end of the standings, number one.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those guys like the MVP award. It's always a controversial topic or whatever when it's the guy with the best the player on the team with the best record wins it or whatever. And it's not the best player, it's not the best performer, or we should change the name of the award. But I think this year, I think it's fitting for SGA as the MVP. Like you said, I don't usually like put they're the number one team in the league or whatever on there, because I do try to keep it an individual award, but it's a part of it. If you're the best player, and you're a big part of making your team the best team. If you take him off, they're not the best team. If you take Joker off, obviously, they're not, as good as they are. Maybe they drop off the face of the earth. Who knows? But from what we see and what we see, them doing, and then getting the privilege to see them go head to head, not only were the Oklahoma City Thunder the better team, SGA was the best player in this series. And you never get to really say that with the Joker in any matchup. It's never a time we think about last year, the year before, whatever, whatnot. I can't remember a series where I was like, oh yeah, LeBron outplayed Joker or such and such outplayed him. Usually they lose with the Joker being the best player on the court. But that was not what happened this year. And that's why I got SGA as my MVP. But great series. This was exactly what I think we all thought it would be. I think we all called it going 7. Y'all had Denver, I had OKC, but the whole time we flip-flop trying to figure it out. But we knew it was gonna be close. Didn't expect the blowout. But moving ahead, we have Ant-Man versus SGA. This is gonna be a very, very, very exciting series. They match up, well all across the board. But what are you guys expecting to see out of this series?
Man, I expect 2 up-and-coming superstars going at it. That's what the NBA is all about. The NBA is always about the superstars. 2 guys, real young, hungry, playing to get their first championship. I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to be hard fought. You're going to see a lot of defense. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game for the most part. You might have a game where it's high-scoring. Both teams are hot, but it's going to feel like, early 2000s, late 90s basketball. That's what I'm predicting, because both of these teams have showed us they have the ability to play great defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see how all the rest that Minnesota has gotten impacts this series. Because OKC was just in a dogfight, right? Timberwolves have only played 10 games.
Yeah.
They've only played 10 games, and they haven't played. And it's been almost they're gonna get like a week off almost.
Yeah, because the game, first game 1 is Wednesday or something like that. Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna get a week rest. Only played 10 games. So that's definitely gonna impact the outcome. I just don't know how impactful it'll actually be.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm looking forward to, and what I expect Ant Edwards to take on this SGA one-on-one matchup.
Yep.
That's the most exciting thing about this series. I want to see if he's gonna accept this challenge like he did these last 2 series with literally right at LeBron. I want to see if him and Jake McDaniels.
Yeah.
If they're fighting over who's going to get SGA, because I think that type of mentality, especially when you got possibly the MVP coming in trying to take you out this series, are we going to see that same defensive intensity or challenge, I should say, in a duo between them two on who's gonna go for it? I want to see that at Edwards match up with SGA.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you. But before I give my take, we got another special guest, a returning guest. My guy, Mr. Sam Yip from Hoops Hype. See what he thinking about this upcoming series between the Minnesota Timberwolves and OKC Thunder. SGA versus Ant-Man is what we talking about. And Sam, what are you thinking? What you think we go see when we get this series and it gets going next week?
I think it's going to be a battle. You have Minnesota. They were in the conference finals last year, right? So they have the experience already. And then you have OKC. I think this is their first trip to the conference finals as a group. But like I look at it as OKC obviously is the most talented team in the league.
Right.
Well,
right.
Before Tatum got hurt and everything. But I think when they played Denver, that was like we kind of wanted to see them play with adversity, right? And they got the adversity with Denver. So now it's really more of a obviously they're a better team than the Timberwolves, but obviously they got Anthony Edwards and With Anthony Edwards. I know SGA is probably going to win MVP this year, but Anthony Edwards probably believes in himself that he's the best player on the court every time they play. And that's a big difference in terms of just having that one guy is not afraid of the moment and can capitalize, especially in the playoffs. I'd lean OKC and set. I don't know if you're doing predictions right now. If you want to do that,
we're getting there. But you go. Yeah, do your thing. Do your thing.
I think OKC is probably going to win in 7. I'd say 6, but I don't see them winning on the road. The thing with the Timberwolves is, I don't know if you guys watch them closely, but they do play pretty well on the road, regular season and playoffs. I think they might play better on the road than they do at home. I don't know if it's a lack of focus at home or anything, but they tend to play better on the road. The thing with the Timberwolves gameplay, honestly, they're kind of bad. They're not that fun to watch. Like, it's very, like, outside of the occasional dunk by Ant-Man and and all that, but it's just it's hard to watch. Like, they're just bricking up a lot of shots. I know they like to muck it up with other teams, so the other team's bricking it up too. So it's like watching the Pistons in the early 2000s. It's not fun to watch, but it gets the job done. But we'll see against OKC, because OKC they like to get steals and they go on transition and get a lot of easy buckets. So they can score in bunches. So I know the Timberwolves are very hit or miss when it comes to the threes. I think they were top 5 in the threes this year, but if they're not hitting their threes, they're going to have trouble scoring. And against OKC, that might be a problem.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. The Minnesota, they're a grinded out team, and Julius Randle, I feel like he fits exactly what you said. Like, it's not the prettiest to watch, but he does a lot of damage when he's out there. And that's been Minnesota's identity, from having Rudy Gobert as just starting center or whatever. He's a guy that's not put up a lot of points, and if he does score 20 like he did against the Lakers, which seems like a month ago. Yeah, y'all like how I threw that in there. I had to bring up the Lakers. But it's not a pretty 20 if you're getting 20 from him. It's not a pretty 20 if you're getting it from McDaniels. Like, it's Ant-Man is the show in Minnesota, and I am curious to how things are going to play out. I've been calling OKC, winning it all season. I haven't changed. I think they win this series in 6. So I guess we get there. I got OKC in 6, but I do see, like Dalen said earlier about the challenge that, and you said it too, Sam, but the challenge that Edwards is going to take on himself when he's already beat the Warriors. And obviously Steph got hurt, but he is Steph, Draymond. The round before that, he beat LeBron and Luka, and he's looking to continue to knock these guys off who are giants of the NBA. And SGA, potentially about to win his first MVP. I know Ant is licking his chops and excited for this series. So I think you're going to get an amazing, matchup between those two. And it's all, I do think it's going to, similar to this series, I think it's going to be telling of who is actually the better player. Because, I don't see SGA guarding that much, but I know Ant is going to take that challenge at times. With Jaden McDaniels go probably do the bulk of defending SGA, but Ant is a prideful player. He's gonna put his name in the book too. But when we're talking a lot about in this playoffs, we're talking a lot about the SGAs of the world, Ant Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, obviously because they're the last men standing. But have we officially turned the leaf of who are the superstars in this league? LeBron's out, Steph's out, KD's out, James Harden is out. Anybody who, when I first think of superstars in the NBA, they're all gone. And I don't know if they're coming back. I think that might be the end of that type of super. Like they're still super mega stars, but I think this league is this season has shown that Jalen Brunson and these new guys and SGA, they are the new faces of the NBA. Do y'all agree with that? Start with Jelani up top.
Man, this might be it. It might be. I'm not going to say it's 100% the new guard running things. Not yet. But I'm going to say it's about 75%, and here's why. The Warriors, I believe, if Steph doesn't get hurt, they have a chance of making a run to the finals. Mm-hmm. And they definitely, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, Steph, that's definitely the old guard. The one game that Steph played fully healthy, they won. So, I still feel like next season, right, some of these older guys, depending on who goes where, might be able to pull it off. So next year will probably be the last opportunity for one of these guys to win it. So that's why I said just 75%, not 100%. But at the same time, man, if you look at the Final Four teams, all led by young players, like very few of these teams have a real veteran presence, right? I think OKC doesn't have any vets, unless you want to count Caruso as a vet. I don't even know. Right. In Indiana, they don't really have vets. Same thing with Minnesota. And in New York, they really don't have a lot of vets. They're all young players. So,
and you know who I forgot New York. I'm about to cut you off, but I forgot. I was just thinking of that. New York has PJ Tucker over there. I forgot he is there, but he's over there.
It's because he doesn't get any PT. He doesn't get any time. He doesn't get any time.
Game, they was actually chanting to put him in the game at the end of the Knicks Boston game. They was like,
loved it.
Hilarious.
Tom Thibodeau don't like playing reserves like that, but I'm gonna say 75% they have taken over, and next season the window is closed for the old guard most likely.
What about you, Mace?
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It's over. 100%. It's over. As far as them, that type of superstar leading a team, I think it's over. I don't think we're going to see another superstar just because we're seeing these injuries happen more frequently with these aging NBA players. I mean, these aging stars.
Yeah.
So if we go on based on what's been happening, we're seeing them get hurt more and more and more. And it only puts a toll on your body even more. And as you age, 37, 38, LeBron, what, going to be 43, 44?
I know. 41. You put like 3 years on my man.
Something like that, right? So, hey, I don't see that old superstar winning another one. Not as a leading act.
Not as the number one guy.
Not as the number one guy. And I mean, I think LeBron is in a good position because he do have a Luka. Where the young guy can actually take on and lead. But as far as like them being the main course, I think that superstar is out. I ain't gonna say on his way out. It's out.
Yeah.
Sam,
so
what you think, Sam?
Steph was the last chance we had this season.
I think
that was it.
I agree with that. I agree with that because, like you said, Steph in that one game looked great, looked phenomenal. He looked like he was going to actually push that series and kind of state his claim in the series. But like you said, as they get older, injuries happen more often, and that's what prevented him from moving forward and advancing. So, yeah.
What you think, Sam?
I think just going off what May said about just being healthy and stuff, you look at these last 4 teams, they pretty much got where they are because the other team got hurt. Like you look at, I mean, Cleveland, they got hurt. I mean, you can make a good argument that Cleveland still would have lost. But, a lot of their guys did get hurt. You look at the Celtics with Tatum, obviously, and then you look at with the Warriors, like you guys were just talking about with Steph, and Steph is pretty much their whole offense. So once he goes down, I mean, I think Steve Kerr mentioned like he's kind of like our solar system, and once he goes down, then the whole team kind of goes down the ship. And then who's the other team? The Nuggets. Like, look what happened with Jamal Murray was hurt. Michael Porter was playing with one arm.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon was. I don't even know how he played today, but he was kind of effective.
Right.
Yeah, and then you just look at all this. It's the last man standing, really, right? So these are long 82-game seasons, and you got a lot of these teams going all the way to 7 games. That puts a lot of toll, especially when you're over 35. To really kind of go through the grind of 48. They're playing 45, 46 minutes because this is the playoffs. They need to play as much as they can, and the bodies can't. I know, like a lot of players nowadays are playing a lot longer than they were maybe 5-10 years ago. With a lot of these guys were done by 35, but at this point, maybe medicine's not. It's not to the point where they can still play like a full 48 minutes while like in this time of the year, every other day, right? Like these schedules are very, very unforgiving. Like I think back, like before they usually got like 2-3 days sometimes, but like I don't know what's going on now. They only get like 1 day. I think it's because of the in-season tournament thing, whatever. It kind of like pushed everything off a little bit. So yeah, it's not good for when you're an older player, but I do think this is the changing of the guard. I just don't see in the future next year, like even next year, like, I agree more with Mace. Like this is it. This is over. Like this is the young kids on the block. Like they're under 28. A lot of these guys, they have like I'm trying to think of Anthony Edwards got hurt. Like remember, I think it was game 1 when he got hurt, and then I think he got like carried out, and then he came back the same game, like, and he looked like nothing. I think if he was 35, I don't think he would be back in the game, honestly. So a lot of this has to do with youth and everything like that. I wanted to bring up something when Giovanni brought up Caruso with the Thunder about being noticed player. I don't know if you guys watched their post game when Lisa Salters was calling out, "Where's Caruso?" and he was in the back. He wasn't having the whole little post game shenanigans that they were doing out there. He's too old for that kind of
stuff. But they said they call him Unk. He already on Unk status.
That's crazy. And he's what, 28, 29 or
31, 31, I think.
31. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, that was funny. They panned the camera to him, and he's sitting down.
He's like,
he got to rest his body and get ready.
Hilarious.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I think I'm gonna reiterate. I think in listening to y'all points or whatever, and I ain't even when I said that I think it's over, I didn't even think about the injuries, and that's been a huge issue, especially anybody over 35, and the amount of minutes you have to play in order to win a championship. I think that's part of it. You can be, I think they're these same superstars, LeBron, Steph, KD. Well, KD didn't this year, but I was gonna say I still think as a number one they could get you to the playoffs, but LeBron and Steph, they could get you to the playoffs as number ones, but to get to win a title, I think it's over. But like you said, LeBron has the opportunity to slide down to the number 2 option and get a chip and show up and perform when it matters. So that window I think is still open for him. With the Warriors, I think it's going to depend heavily on health, because like y'all said, if they were healthy, if Jimmy Butler didn't get hurt, if Steph didn't get hurt, we might be talking about OKC versus Golden State or whatever. Yeah. But that's not how it played out, and we got OKC, Minnesota. And one thing I was like looking at these teams, obviously I think most of us are off the top of the head, we would say OKC is going to win this series. But when you look at them, Minnesota has a lot of, players that can kind of, match up with OKC. They match up in size. They match up in, physicality. And I think it's just a skill thing that separates them. I think OKC are the more skilled team. But when you look at this team, these two teams, who has the advantage when it comes to the big men? Minnesota, they have Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid, who's a stud off the bench. And then OKC is Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, and then Jalen Williams, who plays, sparing minutes. And I'm talking about not J-Dub, but light-skinned Jalen Williams. When he gets in, he's a player that could come in and make an impact, which he did this series, with defending Joker and stuff. Who has the advantage there when it comes to big men?
Go ahead, Sam. You got it.
I'd say the Timberwolves do, just because. Chet is really an undersized 4. Honestly, like he cannot. I don't know if you against the Nuggets, whenever Jokic was in the game, he was never guarding Jokic. He can't guard. He's a stick. He was getting bullied by Aaron Gordon. I don't know if you consider Aaron Gordon a big, but he's not built like that, right? He needs to hit the weight room, honestly. That's the point right now. But
you called that man a stick.
He's a stick. He is a stick. He needs to bulk up more. He's very, very skilled at what he does, but he plays more like a guard than he does a big man. And in this league, I know we're kind of going back into shedding more back into the big man kind of game, but he needs to without Hartenstein, last year, that's why they couldn't get far, because they didn't have a big. Now they have Hartenstein, but Hartenstein's going to be on Rudy Gobert, but I give the edge to the Wolves just because they got Naz Reid. I'm assuming that Chet's going to guard Naz because Naz more of a kind of a perimeter guy, but he can also bang you around the rim and get around there. I give it to I'm gonna go with the Wolves, but the Thunder held their own against Jokic, so that's saying something too.
True.
I would second that. I think Minnesota got the advantage. When you add a versatile big like a Julius Randle, who can step out, shoot the 3, drive. I think Chet and Hartenstein are gonna have hands full with dealing with them too, and which is going to eventually open the floor where they can't camp out in the paint, for block shots. So I think that gives Minnesota an advantage because now you got SGA having to guard Edwards. Guard a Jaden Daniels. So their advantage is the fact that they can spread the floor. Now with Rudy, yes, he'll clog the floor, but that still plays into their advantage as far as with bigs. So I got Minnesota. I think Minnesota got the advantage.
Man. I'm not sure on this question. I'm not sure, but what I am sure about is Anthony Edwards gonna put one of their bigs on a poster. I do know that. That's what I'm waiting for. I want a classic playoff posterizer. Right? I'm talking Baron Davis on Karolinko type posterizer. I think we're gonna see that. Because like our man Sam said, Chet is a stick. So that's easy pickings for Ant. And Ant, that's my favorite thing about Ant and Ja. They want the smoke, they want to dunk on you. Right?
Yeah.
That's how Ja got hurt. Trying to dunk on somebody. So I don't know which bigs are better, to be quite honest. I just know OKC's bigs is getting dunked on. Matter of fact, we should make a bet on who's gonna get dunked on first. Is it
Chet's gonna get dunked on first.
Who is it? Williams. Who's gonna get put on a poster?
Hartenstein likes to contest shots, so he gets dunked on a lot too.
Yeah.
Oh well, he's definitely getting dunked on in.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that. Yeah, but I think you absolutely right, man. And
saying.
Looking at it in multiple ways, I'm sure. I'm thinking, he want to dunk on. It's Chet that he wants to dunk on. He's the taller.
Yeah, I want to dunk on Chet. Jeez, everyone wants to dunk on Chet.
Yeah. That's what we gonna see some crazy attempts. I'm assuming, but I'm actually going to go opposite of Dalen and Sam, and I'm gonna say OKC has the advantage. and it isn't because of Hartenstein and Chet and Williams being better, but what I seen OKC do defensively to the Joker, and it was not just them, it was a collective effort from the whole team. And I think that's what we're going to get. I think they have a lot more help than when we look at Minnesota. Minnesota, you know, you have Jaden McDaniels and those guys who can guard and defend, but they're more of, you know, on-ball defenders. They're not, they haven't had to, you know, really help a big out or, you know, do anything other than lock up the man they're guarding, and that's what they do. But when you seen how, you know, putting Caruso, I wouldn't be surprised if Caruso or somebody like that is guarding a Rudy Gobert. So now it's, you know, or whatever, Julius Randle, whoever it may be. I think OKC has the flexibility with their smaller players to make things a lot easier on their bigs. Now, Chet's still gonna have to watch out for Ant, but but I think the OKC bigs, I think they're gonna have a really good series, and I think Minnesota is gonna be one of those series where, you know, Julius Randle is one of those guys that always get blamed. It's his fault or whatever, and I could see that happening, you know, and coming on into this matchup. But yeah, man. I mean, we talked about a little bit about everything. I think we all gave a prediction of who we think will win.
No, I don't think we did. I think we kind of did it in spots, but
let's do an official. Let's do an official then, and let's start with the guests, man. Sam, I know you said it first, but let's start with you. You had OKC and what?
7. I had them in 7 just because they're at home. Kind of like situation today where they got the home crowd going, everything. A lot of these road guys on their team, they don't have a lot of experience. So in a sense, they are kind of like front runners. I know Mark Haynes has a whole front runner story. Like a lot of these guys, like once they're up 15 or so, like you get these other guys like the Aaron Wiggins and the Isaiah Joes and those guys, like they can knock down threes, especially in the regular season when they're up. But when the game gets tight, when it's close, they don't have a lot of options. It's just SGA and J Dub, and like sometimes he comes J Dud. So they're in these playoffs. I found that I found that somewhere. I kind of copied somewhere. But I think if the game gets close, it's gonna be like the Nuggets. Like when the game gets close, I can see the Wolves kind of like getting a game or two when it's close. But when the OKC wins those games, it's gonna be like a blowout. Like a lot of those, kind of like what we saw today. So I have OKC in 7. I wouldn't be surprised if they won in 6, but 7 just to be safe.
Mace, what you got, man?
I got Wolves. I got Wolves in. Some keep telling me to say it, but I'm fighting against it. But I got Wolves in 6. And Sam made a great point. He said that the Wolves play better on the road than most of the time they do at home, and you see that in the Lakers series, and you see that in the Golden State series because they came to LA and whooped them. So I think that was a great point, and I mean I know they're gonna come into a hostile environment. Game 1 with OKC, all the energy is high. They're excited about their team, but there's something about Ant Edwards that thrives in those moments. And I think he got a dog with him and Julius Randle that is not afraid of it. Who's been groomed by a Kobe Bryant, who's teaching these type of mannerisms. Sometimes you gotta go to the heart of the dragon. You gotta go play him. So I think this is an opportunity for him to kind of continue on that pace of I'm not afraid to go in your house and take you out there. So I got Minnesota in 6.
Minnesota in 6. And Sam, you I don't know if you caught our last one or whatever, but my prediction I had, and now I got Denver messed it up. But I said the New York Knicks was going to win it all. But that was only if Denver eliminated OKC. If Denver eliminated OKC, I had New York winning it all. That was my hot take. I was trying to bring back hot takes, but yeah, that didn't happen. So I'm back. It's gonna be OKC all the way. But Jelani, since you back on real quick, Minnesota, OKC, who you got?
Man, I've been grappling with this one, going back and forth, because on paper I feel like OKC has a better team. But for Minnesota, it's just like I said, the rest. They've had plenty of rest, and Anthony Edwards is a dog. I think he's gonna elevate his game and match it to whoever he's going against. Man, I don't know, bro. All right. I'm gonna make a prediction, but I'm gonna grant myself the ability to change my prediction on Tuesday because I need more time. We just found out the matchup right now. So for now, I'm gonna say OKC. But Tuesday, ask me again on Tuesday after the Celtics game. But for now, I'm gonna go OKC in 6 for now.
Okay, all right. So we gotta redo this on Tuesday.
I think that's what they do on TV. Ask me before the game, right before the day. That's what they do on TV. So I'm just saying, I'm doing what the professionals do.
Hey, I ain't mad at
That was that's but no, look, I'm gonna give myself an out in this one.
Yeah, that's funny. You might be one of the first people to call it. It's like, look, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like my prediction might change. So
No. Hey, I'm not gonna change it in the middle of the series. I'm saying give me till Tuesday. The series don't start till Wednesday.
Okay.
I mean, you put me on the spot.
Wait,
man.
the series starts on Tuesday, I believe, right? The other one starts on Wednesday.
Is that
the East one starts on Wednesday, I believe.
Oh, the East is on Wednesday. My bad.
You got till Monday then. You got tomorrow.
I got tomorrow. We not going live tomorrow. Okay, all right. Forget it. I'm OKC in 6. I'm just gonna stick with it.
Hey man,
I thought I had till Wednesday.
It's Sam. Before we get out of here, man. I wanted to get your predictions in that New York Knicks Indiana Pacers series.
I'd say Pacers in 7. So Pacers in
7.
What was it last year? Pacers in 6 against the Knicks? I think it was 5, right? Was it 5?
I thought the Pacers won at 7.
It was 7
last year.
Yeah,
I got to look it up.
I gotta look it up too. I don't remember. I can't even lie. Like I don't know how much I was focusing on the East last year, but I've been locked in this year with the East because especially like I'm so juiced about as much as I care about this OKC Minnesota matchup. It was 7.
It was 7 last year.
7.
Yeah. So like I expect another classic New York Knicks Indiana Pacers series. I hope it gets ugly. I don't want no fights or anybody get hurt or anything. I might want to fight. I ain't gonna lie, but I want entertainment. I want the Reggie Miller versus Larry Johnson and them dudes and Pat Ewing. Like this has all the making to make you feel like that in the Eastern Conference Final. I think Jelani brought up a stat that the Knicks haven't been there since '99. And the Pacers haven't been there since 2000, the very next year or whatever. So it's like the nostalgia is back. East Coast basketball is popping right now. I think the ratings are going to be sky high on both, with both games. But yeah, since now I have to redo my Knicks prediction because Denver didn't, they didn't do what I thought maybe they might do. But since OKC is still in, OKC is winning it all. But the team that they will beat in the NBA Finals,
right here,
it's still the Knicks. It'll be OKC and Knicks, but I got OKC winning that series in like 5.
Wow,
that's what I got. Man. That's what I got.
I got okay. So those stats. So yes, the last time the Knicks won the East, 1999. The last time Indiana won the East was 2000. But what I didn't realize is that year that Indiana won it in 2000, they faced the Knicks.
Oh wow!
So
Yeah.
last time both of these teams were in the Eastern Conference Finals, they actually played one another.
Yeah, it was 25 years
I
or
think.
something.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's
Unless
dope.
Indiana might have gotten there another time since. But it's good, The last time these two played each other in the Eastern Conference Finals was 2000. I'm picking the Knicks in 6. I'm picking the Knicks. I want, and not only am I picking them to win, I want to see them win. I want to see the Knicks in the finals. I think it'll be good for the NBA. They're gonna burn down the Brooklyn Bridge, all of that. Win or lose.
Man.
No more Brooklyn Bridge. It's gone.
It got hit yesterday by a ship. I don't know if you saw.
That's because the Knicks is doing good. That's why. Those are some drunk Knicks fans.
Oh man, and hey, that's a perfect perfect note to end this thing. Oh man, and Sam, you always welcome to jump on whenever, man. We appreciate you. Sam Hype. Sam, it's my bad. I'm about to mix you. You the boss of Hoops Hype, so I was gonna call you Sam Hype, but Sam Yip, the boss of Hoops Hype. One of the great upcoming NBA reporters. Does a lot of great work. Make sure you follow him, check him out. Make sure you follow Dalen Mason, Jelani Hendricks. You can search our names and we'll pop up wherever you're looking. But this is the closers, and we are closing this thing out until Tuesday. We will be back. Yeah, Tuesday. We get a little break. We got a break yesterday. We get a break tomorrow, and then we come back fresh. I might even have a haircut by then. But
Okay.
Nonetheless, this the closers, man, and we are out of here.